You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
It is Monday, March 25th.
It is. I have nothing really exciting to say about that, other than I rode my bike today. It was finally warm enough, and I woke up early enough on a Monday.
Yay! It's Monday, and it is a drizzly Monday, but we're gonna.
But it's warm.
It's warm. It's warmish, and some warm bodies in the studio this morning. We get to talk to real people in the studio, in the flesh this morning, which
lots
is
of people.
Exactly, packed the house in the studio this morning with all the social media experts.
Yeah, there's like a shift
building.
in the force going on right now.
That's right. It's kind of like when all the DCEs in the building come together, and there's like this shift in the force in the building.
Yeah,
that's why they spread us throughout the building to keep it balanced. So, some good topics. We're going to take a look at what's going on in social media and some of the newest platforms, or one of the newest platforms, and what potential does it have for good and evil?
Mostly evil.
Well, there's our show.
And we're done. And we're done. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting the Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu. cuw.edu. Live Uncommon. In the studio this morning, Peter Slayton. He's social media manager for LCMS Communications, and one of the voices you hear right here on Concord Matters a couple times each month. Good morning.
That's me. Good morning. I'm not Andy Bates.
I don't think anybody else gets that. That's sad.
That's okay. It's a coffee hour inside joke.
It is a coffee hour inside joke.
Meredith Whitefield, communication specialist in LCMS Youth Ministry. Good morning, Meredith.
Good morning. Always fun to be here with these guys.
Sorry, no donuts this time. You were one of our taste testers for National Donut
Put me
Day.
on the calendar,
Hey, that's
though.
coming up this summer.
I know. I'm in. It's already in my calendar. Don't worry.
And Matthew Burkholt, he is manager of online support and services, LCMS School Ministry. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning.
Glad to have you in studio this morning.
Good to be here.
Glad that you're the one healthy person in your family and survived and made it here this morning.
Sort of. We're getting there.
Oh boy.
So I keep getting what, ads or something popping up on Facebook, wanting me, and stories too, wanting me to check out this thing called TikTok, which makes me think it's about a clock, but it's apparently not. So I asked all the social media experts in the building. We've got a few. I think, are there more? So there are some across the street too.
There are some across the street
in the neighborhood that
In the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood.
We invited them, but they were busy.
Yeah.
So what are you getting these, Sarah? Are you getting?
I am now that I've actually looked it up.
Now it's like showing
now
up
it's showing
nonstop.
Now
up
it's showing
all the
up.
time.
It's
It wasn't
everywhere.
before though, or I was just ignoring it because I hate ads, so I just swipe past them.
So the run of the mill, what are the typical standard social media platforms that we see all the time? Yeah, like Facebook, Twitter, or and
Instagram,
or-
Snapchat.
those are all the big ones. Any others that you all use?
I mean, I always lump in YouTube with
Yeah.
social media.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
And that's a popular one in our household.
I really miss Vine. Rest in peace, Vine.
Well, that's actually the hole that TikTok is kind of filled is the Vine hole in many ways. And TikTok is actually Musical.ly rebranded or taken over or merged. They were bought out and merged into TikTok. So you used to see Musical.ly, musical.ly. I guess just Musical.ly is how you say that one. That used to be everywhere. I was annoyed by that all the time. And now I'm just annoyed by TikTok, and Musical.ly disappeared. And when we started looking into this, I was like, oh, that's what happened. Okay. I'm still being annoyed by the same kind of ad. It's just a different one now.
So what is this platform? And I hadn't even heard of it. I don't know if I'm like aging out of the new platforms or something. I had not even heard of this new platform.
You're so old school.
I know. I'm getting up there.
I think the best explanation I found of it online was just to kind of compare it to other things. A quirky hybrid of Snapchat, the defunct video app Vine, there you go, and the TV segment Carpool Karaoke. It's a good
I like
That's
that.
pretty
a good mix of
all-encompassing.
what it
that
is.
works.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for social media inept, I shouldn't say inept people. For people that don't use social media, apologies.
Why did you look at me when you said that?
She really did. It was kind of funny.
I really did. I'm sorry. What would one use this to do?
It's just kind of
Anybody.
like a dub smash, really. Like,
Okay.
we're using
Well,
all
we've gone
of this
down that
lingo.
hole. Okay.
Now you're going to have to define dub
So,
smash.
like, it's like a voiceover. Like, here's a clip from a song or a TV show, and you just kind of like lip sync it or lip say it
on video.
And they've got a bunch of other features, I think, like filters and whatever you can put on it. But it's really just like lip sync.
Yeah, that's like the main purpose is there's music playing and you sing along with the music. Yeah. However, right now Arnold Schwarzenegger has something entirely different going viral where there's a Toby Keith song. I forget what the song is, but it's playing and here's Arnold Schwarzenegger chasing a pony around his yard. What? And the song is basically I Want to Be a Cowboy or something like that. So you can also make it a soundtrack to your life. You have 15 second videos. You get 15 seconds. You can string up to 4 of them together for a full minute. And you get 15 seconds, and there's music playing, and then you do stuff. And the app will suggest different kinds of things. And I think this is one of the reasons it's gotten as big as it has, is that the app will send you suggestions of, hey, here's a challenge that everybody else is doing. Do it along with them. Upload your own version of this challenge and, get yourself into the conversation, get yourself out there.
As one who works in broadcasting, when you mention music in a video, the first thing that comes to mind is copyright issues with music. So this is where the background of it being musically comes into play. So music is a key part of this new platform. So you're using that to tell your story somehow.
And they are licensed to use the music, so it's not like you're downloading your own music and putting it in. You're using music within the app that the app has already licensed to have available. So there's a ton there, but you're actually legally using it. So
we're not reintroducing the whole Napster conundrum.
No.
2004 was it?
No, there are other conundrums that come with it.
We need a chart where we've all gone this morning because this is getting really deep.
Might have to have a list of defined terms in the program.
Definitions for those not associated with.
Oh dear.
So you can use music. So if your life was a musical, in a sense, using popular music, though.
Yeah.
None of the music that...
A 15-second musical.
15-second musical.
Up to 60, though.
So it's a fun way to, spend time on your mobile devices when you don't want to be doing anything else, pretty much.
Apparently tons and tons of time.
Based on how popular and how quickly.
Well, how popular and the way the app is set up, like most social media apps that go big really fast, they do everything they can to keep you in the app. And so it has a whole explore feed, or For You is what the tab is called, where it basically uses artificial intelligence. They actually promote, this is like their big thing, is they have AI behind this driving what you're going to watch. And it learns you and your behavior and starts feeding you things, sometimes consistent with what you've apparently already watched, but then it'll say, I think you might like this as well, and throw that in too. So we're talking about this as parents. I'm talking about this as a parent. Okay, great. There's a bunch of stuff that I might like, but this aspect of, and then we're going to go find things you might also like that we think you like. Okay, now
the rabbit hole got really deep really quick.
Yeah, who knows what's going to show up in that at that point.
Right. The whole introduction of AI, artificial intelligence, behind it, guiding the next steps is a little bit terrifying, not only for me as a user, but as you mentioned, as a parent too, potentially what this means for children, for youth. Who's behind this, what's behind this, and what is the goal of the AI? What's the purpose of the AI? What's it driving us to next? Matt's shaking his head. Yeah.
Well, I think the other piece too that, yes, when you're in it, you've got that element of where do you go next and where does it take you? I think the more interesting piece to me is how TikTok has been everywhere on everybody else's platform in terms of selling ad space, finding ways to get people into it. And that's very different than what we've seen in the past with other social media platforms where they're not really cross-pollinating as much in terms of ad and draw. They're not ashamed to go say, hey, you're in this, let's go over here. And like Sarah said, you did a search somewhere and now it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
They're being very specific in how they're marketing and spending that revenue that they've gotten from elsewhere to get more people into it. So that's the other side of this coin too.
Who do you think is their target audience?
Tweens.
But it's funny because to be on TikTok, their license or whatever says recommended for 13 and up, but their audience is definitely tweens.
And there's no way that they verify your age either.
Nah.
So
it's a self-identification.
Yeah, 13 is the magic number. So
yeah,
that's kind of the magic number for all social media.
Yeah.
13 is just kind of the standard number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Meredith, you work primarily in tweens and up, more high school youth?
More high school
youth. So how likely are young adults to adopt a new platform like this?
Well, I think most people will be like, yeah, I'm going to try this out. So they at least have the download. So even if they don't use it, they're still like lurking, or maybe they're just watching videos. I know I see that a lot with Facebook. There's still a lot of high schoolers on Facebook. They're not doing anything, but they're seeing everything. So I feel like it's probably the same with TikTok, although I've seen my ads are just crazy. I don't know about you guys. My ads are like on every one of my social media platforms. It is.
Yep.
I don't know how I got targeted into that, but
It's all based on your activity.
Mine says social media in my Facebook description. Therefore,
right, yeah,
everything.
all of the ads.
No.
You have this account and this account and
Yeah.
Well, let's add another one. What are some of the warning signs or things that could be dangerous, I guess, about this type of platform, especially for tweens? I mean, this might be a big question.
We have the show tomorrow to talk about this too, right? Yeah.
Actually, let's answer that. Let's answer that in just a minute. I'll give you I'll give you just a minute to think about that.
1 minute.
One
That's all I
minute.
got.
We'll talk about it when we come back here. You're listening to Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
I'm Pastor Mark Hawkinson with a win-win offer for your congregation or organization. If you will commit to being a church or organization of the week during the Lenten season, just commit during Lent. You can pick any week you want. You're going to receive $200 off the regular price of $850. You win because you're taking advantage of an evangelistic opportunity. Here's what you get for being a church of the week. Inclusion in every hourly 10-second station ID. 30-second prime time announcements. Also, your pastor will be interviewed on one of KFUO's morning programs. It's a tremendous mission outreach. Please call me at 314-996-1520. Who knows how many people will be in heaven as a result of having heard the gospel over worldwide KFUO. I look forward to hearing from you. That's 314-996-1520.
The Missouri Army National Guard can help you get the education you need to land the career you've always wanted. The Guard will pay up to 100% of your tuition for up to 39 credit hours per academic year at 90 colleges and tech schools across the state. You're eligible as soon as you enlist. Learn more about the many benefits that come with serving part-time in the Missouri Army National Guard. Visit NationalGuard.com today. Sponsored by the Missouri Army National Guard. Aired by the Missouri Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome back to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
We are digging into social media and one of the newest platforms and the potential for it as well. Everybody's getting advertisements for it, or at least all of our social media experts in the building are getting ads for it. I'm getting some, but apparently I'm
You'll
not.
You'll get way more after this.
Just wait, Andy.
Yep.
No, but it is kind of interesting how devices are listening to me all the time. And we talk about things, and the next thing you know, it shows up, an ad shows up in
Everybody
Facebook.
that's listening to this is now going to have TikTok ads.
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode. And Sarah asked a very broad question that had a million answers.
Yeah.
And we gave our experts some time to think about it, and now I've forgotten what the question was.
I'm not sure that anybody thought about it.
I forgot
We were having
what the
too much
question
fun.
was.
Insta storying.
What's the potential?
Dangers, pitfalls, things for users and or parents of users to be aware of. And I will say something that I wanted to say way back, 5 minutes ago. If the suggested stories or anything like the Instagram suggested stories, I would be a little terrified, because I don't know what Instagram is thinking half the time when I get that suggested stories page. I'm like, how is this related to any of my content? So, and some of it's really weird stuff too. So there you go. There's your floor.
Well, I think one of the things we just talked about was when you sign up, there's no, you log in your account for the first time, it's already public. Unless a kid or a young adult uses it and says, I want to make this private, it's out there for everybody to see, which is kind of scary, but also kind of the point of social media is for other people to get involved. But there's also no filter, kind of like you're talking about, Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That you don't know what it's going to suggest or what there is, and the music possibilities or the quotes that they have, that you don't get to filter that through. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, and the app encourages you to publicly broadcast everything you do. Now, this was one of the problems with Musical.ly, was that it became a place where online predators were actually searching out, young minors and going after them using their public content, because it's like a lot of social media, it's built on your ego, and it encourages you to seek that approval from the outside world by performing. Right. And when it's music, and when it's lip syncing, and when the whole thing you're doing is actually performing, well, that's why we're on there, because we want to perform. We like that. It's a good thing. So I'm not saying the acting, the performing is necessarily bad, but that can be used to then draw you into other parts of social media, other areas where, if you're having your ego fed and they're making you feel good, and there's these people who love you and they're saying all these wonderful things about you, and you want to, if you're an impressionable young kid getting into this, and all of a sudden you have this group of people over here that love everything you're doing and they want to see more and more and more and more,
you're going to feed that.
It's a very dangerous place to get to.
It's almost a rewiring of our brain. Maybe it is a rewiring of our brain. Just like, we all kind of chuckled when you said it's like other social media platforms, it's built on your ego.
Because it's true.
Because it's true. I mean, think about, even if I'm speaking in terms of those of us on the older end of the spectrum of social media, you share something on Facebook, and you keep going back to see how many people have clicked like on it, and how many people not only clicked like, but actually clicked a little heart on it, because that means they really loved it.
It means more.
I use the heart on everything.
So it doesn't mean for anybody else that's gotten something from Sarah.
Yeah.
This is true. I love it all.
There goes the inflation rate on your likes on Facebook.
It's true.
So what? So a platform like others that's built on, as Peter said, it's really built on your ego to draw you into sharing your life and seeing how others respond to something in your life, whether it's real or inflated. And that can inflate the ego as well. What does that mean then for development for children? We go to the educator when we talk about development. What does this mean if their target audience is really tweens? They say 13 and older, but it really looks like it's geared more toward tweens. What does this mean for these tweens and even teenagers? What does it mean for them in terms of development if it's focusing everything on their ego?
Well, and that's the thing, is that they're targeting the group that is the most susceptible to that area that's not completely developed at that point yet, where they don't know how to filter themselves in terms of what it is that they're posting, how they're reacting to what others are posting. And that's the scary part, where, yes, they're developing it alongside the same time that they're learning bad habits. So figuring out ways to realize what it is that's going on, that's the hardest part for anybody who's in that tween or in that young teenager area, to be able to take that step back to say what's actually going on here. What am I seeing? What am I doing? What is somebody else doing? But it's hard because they don't have that time to take that breath, because it is, with this and others, it's drinking from the fire hose. You're not able to come up for air. So that's the worrisome part, where it's always in front of them and it becomes their reality.
It's kind of like making. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not my turn to talk, but I'm asking a question anyway. It's kind of like making everyone a childhood celebrity. In a sense, all this attention. You know.
Well, and I mean, this is. I mean, kids grow up with this now. This is normal.
They don't know anything else,
right? It's normal to have your life on social media. That's just how it is. And I mean, whether that's good or bad, I don't know.
There are entire tutorials out there where people will teach you how to make your child a social media celebrity.
Yeah.
You can gear it specifically towards Instagram. There are certain ways to do that.
Did you write these tutorials?
No, actually, my kids aren't on social media, and it's the decision we've made. My oldest is 15; she'll be 16 soon, and we still don't have her on any of the social media. Our kids don't have devices yet either, so that makes it a little bit easier. But as we're looking at all these things, they also haven't said, "Dad, I really, really want to be on here," so we haven't had to have a huge conversation about it. But it's something where we're like, you know what? Look at what this is about. Let's spend time with your friends in real life as much as you can, and let's focus on that for now, because that's actually more important in the long run than the online. And so they haven't had the huge desire to get out there and be on social media.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of that I think is also modeling too. I mean, I'm not blaming parents, but how many of us are spending so much of our own time in front of a screen, and that's the behavior that's modeled, and then that's what also is normalized for young people and our own friends too. I don't know. There wasn't really a question there, although I'm holding the talking hacky sack. But what can parents do, or teachers even? What is behavior that can be modeled, or healthy habits that adult figures and mentors can help children try to understand in relation to devices and social media?
I think one of the big things is exactly what we're doing here today, is making people aware of it. And I know from previously being in the classroom, there are so many educators and administrators who, yes, they may have a surface level understanding of social media or whatnot, but actually getting an understanding of what it is that your students are using currently. Not only do you have a different level of appreciation and respect from your students, but you're able to listen differently to how they're talking. The second piece to this is not being afraid to confront it, to have a conversation, to have the hard conversation. Very few are able to say, all right, we're going to talk about, TikTok today in class. Students will be like, wait, what? We know you're on it. We know that you're having conversations. So let's talk about what that means. For us within, for my background within Lutheran education, we have a different filter that we can put on the conversation. And that goes an enormously long way. If it's never talked about or it's never brought up, there's always that assumption of, the digital native. They know what to do. They live it. No. We were native in something else ourselves, and we had to be taught. That's the same thing for them. You may not feel comfortable teaching it, but you have to get to that point. And you have to be able to say, we got to have a conversation. You have to talk about it and put morals and values behind what it is that's going on.
I totally back that up. Like having this conversation, like, I know it's kind of backwards, but like I had to sit down with my parents and say, "This is what you need to post."
Mom and Dad, we have to have the talk.
Right? Like I didn't get that conversation. Yes. I didn't get to have that conversation with my parents because, like, I just grew up. Like, I had learned it myself. My parents were like, "Meredith, don't get a Facebook," and 16-year-old Meredith was like, "I'm doing whatever I want to." Mom and Dad. But like literally just like having that conversation, or even getting on the social media platforms. Like, if you don't know what it is, get on it and learn it. So you can have those conversations and teach them what to do.
And you're allowed to get off of it afterwards if you don't want to stay. And my question that I like to always ask is the why question. Get to that motivation. Why do you want to post? Why do you want to be on it? Why do I want? And I'm making sure I'm asking myself the same thing. Why am I actually posting this? What am I trying to get out of it? And as you're having that conversation, understanding the motivation that goes behind it is extremely helpful if you're trying to avoid the dangers, because most of those dangers will come from the motivation of, I need to be popular, I need to be liked, I need to get myself out there in some way. And if that's what's motivating yourself on social media, if that's what's motivating your child, your student on social media, that's going to be a warning sign. you can be on social media without that being your primary motivator. And so let's model that first, and then let's encourage our children and our young ones to pursue those other uses of it as well.
We only have about a half a minute left, but I'm gathering from this, looking at all the platforms that the top platforms today, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Twitter and things like that. Snapchat, sorry. All those seem to have some redeeming qualities as potential platforms for being a witness, a faithful witness, and sharing news, what's going on in the church, for some form of gospel outreach or being a faithful witness. I'm not hearing that necessarily for this one. That doesn't mean that the potential isn't there, but since it's solely
we'd have to look at their music library.
Can we talk to CPH
Let's see what their music library is.
Some CPH music in there or something? I don't know.
We're all out of time. Peter Slayton, Social Media Manager for LCMS Communications. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
Meredith Whitefield, Communications Specialist, LCMS Youth Ministry.
Yes, thank you guys.
And Matthew Burkholdt, Manager of Online Support and Services, LCMS School Ministry. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.